Good morning or hello or whatever. I have no idea what water we're looking at. It's a river that we've been driving beside. We're on our way to Sudbury, just coming into a place called Blind Bay. Um, and yeah, it's quite pretty out here. We've gone through a lot of different types of areas. This one, the highway, as you can see, kind of wraps around this river at this point, kind of going around it. I got to change batteries in this thing because it looks like they're pretty dead. Oh yeah, that's the end of that. I'm running here along beside the highway here because there's water lilies in this water along there on that. Wait, I'm swinging, going around. That lake over there is loaded with water lilies on the edges. Not so much where we are right now, but back further there was just green with water lilies, and I didn't realize it till I saw it on this side. So now we're just coming into Blind River. There's apparently 3,600 people live here. We have been traveling along, well, we've kind of passed Lake Huron. We were traveling beside it for a while. Then we started traveling along beside a river of some sort. I'm not sure what. We've got trailers and houseboats on that side of the road. They've got a hospital in 4 kilometers. So this is quite a decent sized place. There's a library and a museum and all sorts. So yeah, really pretty. Really pretty. This is the backyards of people living alongside the highway. And some of the yards are really gorgeous. We came through a section that we really weren't expecting. I didn't have the camera out, so I couldn't video it. But it was an Amish area, very obviously, because we passed 2 of the Amish carts with people in them, driving them down the highway. And then there was one that was waiting at a gate. There was nobody on the cart, but it was waiting at the gate. So possibly had to go back and pick something up or something. But the horse was just waiting, attached to a cart. So yeah, it was really neat. We've been passing a lot of little farms with little signs out that tell you they're selling whatever vegetables or eggs. There was one I saw said meats. So we're getting into the area that where you can actually buy your groceries from different farms. And they're little farms. They're not great big things like we've seen in Alberta. So we've seen the cattle kind of wandering in the fields, and so far we haven't seen chickens, but I imagine that they're just kind of wandering in the yard. You basically pen a chicken in to a large area, and it'll decimate the plants, because that's what they do. They scratch, and they dig the roots and everything up, and so you've got to be able to move your pens with chickens. And you don't want them in too small of an area either, so but they need to eat bugs. They need to eat plants and things. And you do need to give them things like corn, because that helps them to lay their eggs. And it also helps if you give them corn over the winter, they actually will lay eggs year round, because the corn helps somehow with them producing the enough calcium and things. So you will actually have your chickens laying, not necessarily every day in the winter, but they will lay eggs over the winter, where if you don't do that, you don't actually sort of supplement them with not only their seed, but their the corn. You won't get the eggs that you need or want over the winter time. But they do not lay large like they don't lay an egg every single day in the winter as a rule. Some people do get that, but it's not something that's normal. Let's just say that. Anyway, we have been passing all these little farms, and it's actually really, really cool, isn't it, Ann? It's just been really neat. Um, this is quite a big place. I'm just sort of holding the camera up and letting the world go by, you know. But it is quite a big place. It looks like that's the Lions Park over there, and there's parking over there. That could be the tourist information building that was over on that side. So yeah, it's quite a nice looking place. There's a Napa Auto Parts over on this side. That's a big auto parts type of place. A&W, we got A&W. Fuel is $1.68.9 here. We've seen it a variety of prices. We paid $1.69.9 this morning. But you know, it is what it is. So rather than getting almost a full tank of fuel in, we ended up getting about 3/4 of a tank, just over 3/4 of a tank. Anyway, I'm going to shut this off. We're getting back onto the highway, and it's starting to get noisy on the engine, so hopefully you could hear me. But heading to Sudbury. Sudbury is 160 kilometers. So we will see you in a while, and if there's anything that I can grab the camera and catch, I will. I wish I'd been able to catch the Amish buggies, because those were really interesting. But, you know, it is what it is. I do what I can. And sometimes it isn't going to work the way I want it. So we will talk to you soon. Bye. Hang on. Okay, hi.
Hi.
So, where are we?
We're in the parking lot.
Yep, in?
I have no idea. In
Sudbury.
Sudbury.
I have to tell him where he drove to.
The roads were brutal.
Oh my God. Some of the roads in this city are like being on a bad ride. One of those scary rides that makes you scream like a girl.
Yeah.
So I wasn't happy. But
we're just trying to find a place that we can allow us overnight camping. We couldn't even find the visitor information, because the only visitor information is buses.
yeah. Yeah, they tell you about the transit, but they've got no visitor information in a city of over 300,000 with visitors going through it all the time. So it makes perfect sense to me. I don't know about you, but so my question is, have we passed North Bay yet?
North Bay, no.
Okay. Because North Bay may have visitor information. Well, I know it does because it was on the thing. Now, I don't know how far up the road it is, but you could check.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to phone these. There's one in the northeast, another Walmart.
I think that's the one we were at. The big mall one. We've been at one mall, Walmart, and it was in a big mall. It was actually attached. This Walmart, if you can see just past Gary's head there, between the stores, there's a gap, like a driveway. So this Walmart is disattached and has its own parking lot. We have a busload of kids over here that are having a good time with carts and things. They came on that Beaver bus line bus. It looks like they're all going to load themselves back in soon. I'm not sure what they are, or like what group they are or anything, because, you know, we're not with them, so we have no idea. But anyway, there they are. Um, yeah. So up the road, over in that direction, you might be able to see some white tent tops. You maybe can't because they're pretty small on the video. But if you can see them, there's kind of a line of them along. I don't know if you can even see my finger over there, over in that area. And in front of that, on this side of it, is the road, the main road that we came into the mall on, and that's the road we follow in that direction to get to the highway and get out of town. But we made it. We made it to Sudbury, and I don't know. It's kind of a grungy little town or city.
Yeah.
It's kind of grungy. I mean, the industrial area is full of humongous chimneys and not being used anymore by the look of them. They're all, just blocked or stopped being used. But they still exist. They still ruin the skyline in a way, and yet they're kind of interesting at the same time. So anyway, I'm going to shut this off. We've told you we're here. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We're going to have a little chat and see what we want to do, because we got to find a place to sleep. And it's already, what o'clock is it, hon?
Oh, it's 10 after 3.
It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we've been driving since about 9:30, I think it was, that we took off. So it's been, another day. And don't get me wrong, we arrived here probably a good hour and a half ago. So, we're just trying to figure this out. But I'll talk to you and let you know what we do down the road. Bye for now. We've had more than a little rain.
Yeah, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much every day. Every now and then we get one day where there's no rain, but it isn't very often. Tonight we're in Sudbury. We made it here, and we're not staying. Sad to say, but this is probably the dirtiest city we've ever been in. I mean, Thunder Bay had its problems, but here, oh, yeah, no, it's grungy. It's the roads are awful, scary. It's certainly not made for people in RVs to be anywhere in. We're in a Walmart that has a nice area to be in. There's actually a rock. Oh, it's not really a wall. It's actually part of the hill where they've had to make room for the Walmart and this parking, this whole area, by blasting out a half a mountain. At least that's what it looks like they did. But yeah, it is a really grungy city and kind of scary. The first mall we were in with the Walmart, we just found it. It was a Walmart that was attached at one end of a mall, but not in its own separate building with its own separate parking lot, which is what we're more used to. It was obviously an older mall and an older Walmart. The roadway in there, the parking in there was atrocious. It was very awkward to try and get around in. The city is busy and fast, which is what we kind of expect in this southern Ontario area. But they're very inconsiderate in a lot of cases, and I mean just slobs, basically, aren't they, dear?
They are. They really are.
They drop garbage on the ground. I mean, not just a little piece of paper, but dirty diapers and things like that. It's just gross, some of the things they're doing. and nobody puts their carts back except people from out of town. And it's just not what we're used to. We're used to neater and cleaner and nicer. So we looked at our finances and we said, we can travel on. We won't have a lot left when we get to where we're going, but we can travel on. We can get out of here and we can keep going. It'll take us probably 2, maybe 3 days to get into the Niagara region, but we'll be there. And then we can sort of look around and see where we can be there until we've got money coming in on the 15th, which is really nice. And that'll see us through to the end of the month till payday. And then we're going to be looking at getting the Starlink hooked up and going back with our YouTube channel and getting back into living, because we've basically been existing while traveling, but we haven't really been what you could call living. We've seen a lot of things, some of them very weird. When we were in, was it Thunder Bay? Where was the last place we went in?
Sault
Ste. Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie.
We saw several people do this. It must be something common there. But they would sort of set their stuff at the side of the road or the edge of the parking lot and go away for hours on end and then come back for it. And it was, oddly, the stuff was still there. Nobody bothered stealing it, but it was very strange to us to have that sort of activity going on. There was a fellow, for instance, that was parked in a car. We thought, he must be going to spend the night because he was, seemed that that's what he was going to be doing, was spending the night there. We thought, okay, we've seen several people doing that. They're not necessarily living in their vehicles, they're just traveling through, and they park in a Walmart parking lot and spend the night kind of thing. So we didn't really think anything of it, and then about, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I think it might have been, we looked over there, and the car was gone, the guy was gone, but there was his stuff all sitting, kind of leaning against the curb in that spot. It was the strangest thing. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe that's common in other areas, but where we're from, it's just not something you do. You don't leave your stuff. And then I got up about 12:30 and was up for a couple of hours. And when I looked over there about 12:30, now at 11:30, when I went to bed, I very often do this. I'll sleep for about an hour, sometimes 2 hours. Then I get up for 2 or 3 hours, then I go back to bed and I sleep the rest of the night. Anyway, at 11:30, he was not there. His stuff was all there. I could see it because when you're in a parking lot, you have the big lights up above you and things like that. And so there was a light, and he had yellow things, bright yellow things sitting there, so I could see that they were still there. Then at 12:30 when I got up, I pushed the curtain open. Actually, I think it was left open. But anyway, I looked out. There was a black pickup. Now, he was in a dark-colored car. And I know it was a car. I know the difference between a car and a pickup. And there was a black pickup there. And it had one of those covers on the back end that you fold kind of, and it goes kind of like this in a tent kind of thing. Anyway, the yellow stuff was all off the ground, and I assume in the pickup. And and I'm assuming it was the same person who was back because they parked in there and they stayed. And then in the morning, when we got up, we didn't get up until late, but in the morning they were gone again. But they were there for the full, 2.5 hours that I was up. And it looked like they were sleeping in their vehicle. So I'm assuming they stayed until morning and then left. I mean, I'm assuming it was the same person. He just came back with a different vehicle. Maybe he went home and he said, I'm not comfortable in this, I'm taking the pickup. I don't know. But it was just so strange. And then when we were leaving that parking lot this morning, there was another fellow and he had a bag and he kind of set it on the ground beside the road and he was walking and he took a few things out of his bag and he left the bag and he continued walking up the road and left the bag sitting there, and there was stuff in the bag. I don't know. It was just very strange to me that people leave good things on the for hours on end. Anyway, yeah. But here we've already seen far too many homeless bums. Now, there's a difference to me between homeless people who can't, they can't afford a house. They're working, they're doing their best, but they just can't afford to live anywhere. Generally, they're in some sort of a vehicle. They're not street people, or at least they make the attempt to be, or they go to housing of some sort and get into some protected place. And hostels aren't necessarily safe. But these are the bums. These are the ones who beg for money and look as dirty and grungy as they can and stand with their hand out constantly because they want to go and buy booze or drugs. And I mean, okay, they have a mental illness. They should be being looked after. If it's not a mental illness, then they have a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction, and they should be being looked after. But instead, we've seen them outside many stores as we've been driving with us. I have. Gary's been paying attention to traffic, but just standing there outside with signs hanging around their neck on the middle of the street, and need money, and it's mostly men. There's one living outside of the Walmart door, which is, to me, really foolish of Walmart to allow. It's what a lot of people don't understand is parking lots are private property. They're not public property. A store is not a public property. It's private property. And this is why they can make rules and have rules in their parking lots and in their stores because it's private and they make the rules. It's like your house is a private place. You can invite people in if you wish, but you don't have to let everybody in. And parking lots and stores and things like that are private property. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's public, but it really isn't. It's actually private property, and you have the right, as the owner and or leasee or leaseor of that property, to make rules. And I don't understand why stores allow these bums to hang around outside their store. It makes it really not a place I want to go and shop. It makes me nervous. Not that I'm afraid they're going to jump out at me and hit me or anything like that. It just makes me nervous. I'm not the type of person that digs in my pocket and feels sorry for people. I don't like the idea of contributing to someone's addiction and making it worse by contributing to it. So I don't give money to people like that. And I know that they can go to welfare and they get welfare every single month, every one of them, because they do have programs in place for them to be able to do that. They can go and get cash from welfare. So they do. They don't have to have a bank account. They don't have to have anything like that. They have to put it on the street. And most of the time the welfare officers know who's on the street and who's not because they can check it through the police, and the police know pretty much everything. Um, so yeah, it just is not it's not a place that I want to stay in for very long. I was expecting Sudbury, a city of over 300,000 people, almost somewhere around 350,000 people, to have a tourist information, to have nice areas for, they do not. They don't even have nice roads. The roads are really narrow, and they make our motorhome rock back and forth, like side to side, which makes me really nervous, because I was in one car accident where I fell off the road in a vehicle, and I don't really want to repeat it, so it makes me really nervous when you go on roads like that.
But how can you say that, dear? They're designed, these roads, I'm sure, designed for uh, 1 and 2 horse-drawn carts. Or rickshaws. Or rickshaws.
Or horse riding, so because they're very narrow. And they're really rough. It's as if they haven't been done anything with for 20 or 30 years, and maybe they haven't. But and these are the main roads. We don't go on little tiny back roads if we can help it. These are main roads. These are main arteries. There was one where we had a left turn light, and we couldn't turn left because the thing we were in was too narrow for us to turn left without hitting the car beside us or running over their curb. We could not turn left. We had to wait for the cars on that side to move so we could pull forward enough to get around the corner. It's just crazy. It's just craziness.
But it's been exciting. But now, tomorrow, we're going to be heading for Barrie, Ontario.
Yeah, Barrie, Ontario.
And that's...
And we'll be going to North Bay, I think.
No,
we don't go through North Bay.
We don't go through that.
Okay. So
but it's going to be a nicer city, we're hoping.
We're hoping it's going to be nicer. If it's nicer, we'll probably stay at least one night, possibly 2 if it's really nice.
Well, it should be nicer because Radio Shack had their head place there years ago at Barrie, Ontario.
Okay. We'll be traveling on tomorrow and getting out of here. And then once we get, we're not sure after Barrie where we might possibly be staying, if we stay anywhere, or whether we're just going to get through. I'm not sure how many miles we have left to go. I think it's something around 600 or 700.
Maybe. It's not very many anyway.
Yeah. Well, compared to what we've
That's right.
We've so far spent, not counting propane, just fuel. We have spent somewhere over $2,500 in this trip, just on fuel. And we've still got another 500 to go before we get to where we're going. So by the time we're done, we'll have spent somewhere in the neighborhood of just over $3,000 in fuel, not including the propane. Propane it lasts a lot longer because we're only using it for the furnace
and the fridge.
And neither one of those uses a huge amount at a time. So we're just grateful we have the fridge back working, we have lights again, and the generator is acting up. It needs a tune-up, is the best term that I can think of for it. It needs a little bit of work, and once we kind of get to where we're going, Gary will have a look at it. Then we'll have a chance to do things at the end of July when our money comes in again. I know we're only at the beginning of July, but we are looking forward to into the month as well because we always have to be looking at our finances in advance to know where we stand and what we will have sort of for things like fuel. And at the end of July, it's going to be a lot better because we won't have to drive really far. We can sit still for days at a time and that sort of thing. So once we get there, then we can hook up our Starlink. We have it just sitting in a box on the floor. We can hook it up, get the internet going. We can make sure that we can start doing our videos and start getting back into doing our YouTube channel, because I don't know about Gary, but I really miss it. I really miss doing the crafting, and I really miss doing the YouTube channel and everything. We still have not straightened out my account. That's going to also, everything has basically been on hold while we've been traveling, because it's really difficult to do much of anything on the road. So we have just been basically traveling and enjoying what we're seeing, and even the curious things are curious. I mean, they're interesting.
And repairs. We've been doing repairs upon repairs every day.
And that has really cost us. I don't know, I haven't looked at the hundreds of dollars we've spent repairing, but it has been hundreds of dollars that we've spent repairing. And, just trying to get things going. We still have more money to spend, but it's a process, and we just don't have a huge amount of money available at once, so we have to kind of look after that as well. And because we do have other bills that we have to pay, it's not just go in the motorhome and you're free and easy. There are still other considerations, our cell phones for one, and mine, the data. I thought it had all been, I didn't think it was there, and then we found out it was, and that cost us a great chunk of money too. So we got that hopefully now straightened out. I opened my camera the other night and found that there was more things that were turned on in the background that could spew data at me. So I'm hoping that, I haven't got any.
She means her cell phone.
My cell phone, I'm sorry, yes.
Not her camera.
Not the camera. Did I say camera?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm doing well. Yeah. The cell phone is just, the data on the cell phone. Anyway, we have to, and I think I'm probably going to go to bed pretty early tonight. And then tomorrow is another traveling day. Hopefully we don't travel too long. Maybe three and a half hours to Barrie, and then maybe hopefully we're hoping then we can find a place that we can enjoy being at. Even if it's a Walmart parking lot. We've had some really pretty Walmart parking lots that we've been in, with nice bushes and trees and things like that. This one's not too bad. We're kind of around the corner, not quite in the back, but around the corner. We could have stayed in the back. There's actually a little pond back there. But when I was looking at it, I was thinking, it's going to be a bunch of mosquitoes, and we really don't want them in the house. So we came over here, and they said, this is fine for where we are. So we'll be here for the night, and then tomorrow we're going to take off, and I'll try to catch things on the video if I can, and make sure that some of that trip is recorded for you. I haven't done a very great job, and Gary hasn't done much of a job at all on keeping up with the video, but we have done a bit, so you will see some of it and hear us blabbing and complaining and all the rest. About the various things that have gone on and things that we've seen and things like that. It's been an interesting trip. We've seen some really interesting things, and we've seen some really beautiful country. But anyway, tomorrow is another day, and we are going to be traveling all day tomorrow. Well, not all day, but for a few hours tomorrow.
And we're just about out of battery yet again.
Yes, the good old battery situation. But I'll put that, I'll plug it in while we're traveling tomorrow and get that charged up so we have battery. So that's all I wanted to just say. We're not staying here. We thought we were going to be here for 10 days, and there's just no way I want to be here for any
2 days.
One night. I would have left this afternoon if it was up to me, but Gary had already driven a long day, and we didn't.
And I'm getting old.
And he's getting old. So, and as the days pass by, he's getting older. On the 17th is his birthday, and he's 81. We've been saying he's 81 all along. He tends to start calling himself next year's age on January 1st. So yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Anyway, we will say goodbye to you for now and talk to you possibly tomorrow after we get settled in Barrie and let you know what that place is like. Hopefully it's way better than this one. Take care and see you later.